Now, what does it do? What does it do?
It'll take a couple of minutes here. It should pop up to the right, wouldn't you think?
I, I, I have no. Ooh, something. There I am.
Yes. Now what did you override mine?
Something. There I am. I can hear myself on YouTube.
Yeah.
Let me turn off my speakers. This is awesome. It's pretty amazing. Okay, my speakers are off, and I'm on the headset now, and I actually have a spinning live stream. It looks like it just took over.
You're confusing the hell out of me.
And then it's another 10 seconds delay, and then you hear it over there.
Now, where did the side stream go?
Maybe it ended it. Why don't you restart yours and see what it does to mine?
Hit a refresh. If I, it can only be streaming one at a time. That's right.
Ollie Smith live stream. I'm streaming to Ollie's computer. This is great. Um,
Now I should take.
yeah.
I have not.
See if it does it.
Turn yours off. See what happens.
Stop
Are you hungry? Do you want to play? Meet Typeform, the conversational way to collect data. Build your next online form, survey, or quiz. Typeform's one question at a time format engages people from start to finish. So you get good, quality, honest data.
In this series, we're going to look at taking a stream from your device's camera, and we're going to basically stream it to a video element on the page here inside of this grey box. So at the moment I'm on just localhost, just testing. This does need to be done through a web server as opposed to actually doing it locally, to make sure you are actually running some kind of local web server or even public web server. So if I refresh here, it asks me if I want to use the camera, so I'm going to hit allow, and you'll see that will just load up there, and there I am. So this is basically what we're going to be doing, and then from this later on, what you can do is, like I said, take elements like canvas, imprint this onto elements like that, and then do what you want with it. So let's take a look at building the code. It is extremely simple, probably sort of 30 lines or less. And this will allow you to do exactly what you can see me doing here. And then from there on, the possibilities are endless. So let's take a look at the code. So we're pretty much starting from scratch here. The only thing I've done is marked out my document, and I've linked in my main.css style sheet, and I have a JavaScript file linked in here at the bottom just before the ending of the body tag. That should be pretty self-explanatory. We write our styles in here. These are going to be very minimal. And then the video.js file is how we access our camera and grab that and stream it to that video element. So really the first thing to do is start building the markup on this page. What exactly do we need to get this going? Well, we don't need a div for the class of booth, but I'm just going to do this just so we contain it in a nice area, and then later on you might want to change this around. So in terms of the booth, then let's just style this up. We're going to give this a width of 400 pixels. Let's give this a sort of grey background, nothing too interesting, so CCC will do. And I'll give this a border of 10 pixels, solid, and we'll do DDD, and then we'll do margin auto, just so this is centered in the middle. So let's just put some text in here or something just to test this, and there we go. So that's looking okay. We can focus on the JavaScript side of this now. Okay, so to be able to stream a video to an element, this needs to be a video element. So typically you would apply a source here, but we're not doing that because we don't have a video that we want to apply. That's not what we're doing. We're taking this from our webcam. So I'm going to give this an ID just so we can target it with JavaScript. We're not going to be using any JavaScript libraries, so no jQuery or anything like that. And I'm going to give this a width and a height. So I'm going to say 400 in width. And for the height, let's do 300. So you can play around with this. You can even set it using JavaScript if you want. Okay, I'm also going to put autoplay on there. So this video element is now pretty much ready to go. The rest is done with JavaScript. So let's focus on that. Remember, this is linked in here at the bottom, so make sure you've done that. Okay, so we're going to create a self-invoking function. This just keeps all of the variables that we're going to create in here away from the global namespace. You might obviously have an application already and you might be dealing with best practices there, but for now I'm just going to wrap it in this. And essentially all this means is anything in here upon page running will be automatically run. So the first thing to do then is target that video element that we created. So we're going to create a variable here called video, and that's going to be document dot, and then we have the get element by ID method, which, as you probably guessed, takes an element on your page by its ID. In this case, remember, we called the element video. We gave it an ID of video, so that's fairly easy. Okay, so the next thing to do then, in actual fact, let's do this part now. We're going to store the URL API in here. So we're going to say vendor URL, and all this is it's the ability to manipulate, create URLs, and it's supported differently in two different browsers, in WebKit and normal implementation. So what we need to do is we need to separate this by an OR operator, and we're going to say, first of all, window.url, which is the standard implementation. Then we have a WebKit implementation. So we have window.webkit URL. And you can check these out inside of your console. If you open up your developer console, you can do window.url. That's not there. WebKit URL is there. You can see that's auto completing for me. And you can see that code being executed there. Not executed, output there. So now that we've got this, what we need to do next is determine the namespaced function for getting media, or the method for getting media, and that's exactly the same with the vendor URL. This is under navigator this time. So we're going to basically assign something to navigator.getMedia. So we're going to overwrite this with the browser specific vendor